Okay, so now it's time for a showcase of all the innovations. And the first one is coming up by Jupiter Meta. We have Mansa. Mansa, please join us. So each of these organizations are now going to showcase their innovations. Again, a very interesting session. So, yeah, please.
The metaverse has a perception problem. Have a look. Hi, I'm Manasa Rajan from Jupiter Meta. We are a Web3 and Metaverse advisory. It was assumed that the success of Metaverse and its adoption is going to be that we will live in this virtual world. People will don animated avatars and live a really idyllic life in perfect harmony, like where we can be outside of our reality and outside of the woes and problems of our real world, traffic, for instance, and that would be our eternal existence and success of the metaverse. But the truth is that the reality is even better than this utopian vision that we were sold of the metaverse. Virtual worlds are really a way to bridge the gap between present state, how our present world is, and to move to a space, a future world which is equal, which is sustainable, which is just, and which is an optimistic place. Especially through things, how we work, how we learn, how we perceive the world, how we think about the environment, how we participate in societies. Those are the things that we can impact through the metaverse, through virtual experiences. So let me explain with an example. All of us, we all believe that the corporate world should be just, it should be fair, it should be bias-free and diverse, right? But the reality is, and where power struggles or power is not abused, where people take decisions based out of skill, talent, and understanding, right? But the reality is that there is a lot of bias that exists, even in people who are forward thinkers, people who are liberals. There is an inherent bias. We judge even before pleasantries are exchanged. We judge basis appearance and our deep-seated conditioning and so on and so forth. So how can we then change this? Policy changes, education, sensitization training, representation, all these things have a role, but so does the metaverse. So as Jupiter Meta, we wanted to really address this specific issue on creating a more equal world, on creating a space that was devoid of identity. We created an incognito meta space, identity-free and bias agnostic. The idea was to really bring all of this conversation and make it judgment-free in a safe space, whether it's a conversation that you have with your boss, a conversation with an HR manager, a conversation around reporting abuse, a conversation that is around a sensitive matter, and all of these things can be had in a safe space where your identity is intact and not disclosed. It's also a bias-free space because a lot of our biases are inherent to certain visual elements, to certain, how we perceive human interactions usually. But the interesting thing is, this safe space is a place where you can have judgment-free conversations. Just think about in which scenarios can we improve life through an incognito room. Therapy for trauma victims, sexual wellness consultations, These are some of the niche areas we're working with. It can really impact the experience of the user in a simplistic way through a simple solution that we've created. I want to talk about another example that we are working on. When we talk to our children, when we lead by example, work and play are two very, very separate scenarios. It is distinctly different. When children plan their day, a lot of the activities are around work, and that requires labor that one has to suffer through because there is a promise of success. And then there is playtime, which is intuitive, fun. It does not need any motivation. Children do it naturally, and it is like a reward at the end of the day. But games they're enjoyable intuitively. And gaming is far more engaging, enjoyable compared to something like learning about the history of the world or chemistry. So can we bring this immersive, intuitive, enjoyable, natural, fun, rewarding experience into learning? And that's really the key idea that we're focusing on. Learning and development to be experiential, intuitive, enjoyable, and rewarding. And the metaverse can do that, right? Just the skill development aspect, the learning aspect can be immersive, but also fun. It is not driven as a chore, but it is engaging, and it can be a part of our life with ease. So we understand the concept of active learning and what this space can do, the potential of gamification in adding value to a learning experience, right? Whether it's designing curriculum for children and enhancing it through augmented reality or virtual reality experiences, whether it is building training modules for companies to develop a certain skill set for their employees, whether it is for a standard safety training that can, some of the other speakers initially spoke in the morning spoke about how can you create risk training and really safety training without giving those experiences. Immersiveness can solve for that. A lot of content developed in an immersive environment through the right elements of gamification can really make it a reward-based system, but also where your learning goals are top of mind. The idea is not for us to build virtual experiences and worlds out of thin air. The idea for us, what we focus on really, is to create experiences that are solutions to problems. We help businesses identify problems and then create specific targeted solutions with measurable goals to achieve that. And that's really the crux of the extended reality and metaverse adoption for us. It's a transformative new world, and everybody's welcome. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And next we have DaveAI. We have Sriram from DaveAI to present this. And after DaveAI, it is Ajna Lens. Mr. Pankaj, requesting you to please be ready.
Hi everyone, appreciate the opportunity here. So the world we are imagining, we are called DaveAI. So we're calling it a Dave New World. What is this Dave New World? So we believe the future of internet is going to be powered by three key pillars. One, it's going to be 3D and immersive. So you're going to move from static experiences that you look into to experiences that you will probably live in or be inside. Right? The second one is you will have a virtual presence. All of us will have virtual presence in whatever form, right? 2D, 3D, but you will have your avatars, you will have an identity virtually, And more importantly, as brands will also have virtual identities. Right? Today, you have sales reps or product specialists that you train on. You will have a virtual twin or a digital twin of that in these digital universes, who will be the primary mode of interactions with customers who are becoming digital first. And finally, speech will be the primary mode of user experience. Right? We will not type anymore. We will be talking to interfaces, and most of us already do that for a bunch of user applications. Now, when we imagine this next generation of experiences, what are the challenges that enterprises will face, right? So we are an enterprise-focused, platform, experience creator platform. So I'll try and limit myself to that domain. Who will represent your brand in these digital universes? Of course, the great metaverse is great. All of us know that it's going to scale, but how will you have quantifiable ROI from these experiences, from the investments that you make in these experiences? And of course, can you just afford to work with one partner or one company and be limited with the creative liberty that that company brings to you, right? How would you leverage this vast amount of creative power that is available in this universe? So these are the three key challenges that we are trying to address with the Dave New World, as every brand builds their digital universe in the next 3 years. And of course, as customers become digital first when they discover brands. These digital universes that you can build can be virtual showrooms or can be meta-ready digital universes. The reason why I call it meta-ready is because most of us in India today are also bound by regulatory concerns to actually go ahead and adopt decentralized infrastructure or leverage additional ecosystems when you're dealing with customer data, right? So we believe that there is going to be a transitional phase while brands move from current process of selling products to completely decentralized metaverse-ready experiences. So we believe there will be a phase where you become meta-ready, right? And that's what we try and enable. And of course, avatars. It's not just about customer avatars, how they look at low poly, high fidelity. It's also about how can you train your brand avatars with your products and services, with your processes. So Dave-enabled sales avatars are powered by a sales brain that is backed by an online learning genetic algorithm, which means you can really train these avatars to do what you want to do, to influence customer conversations. And we predominantly work in the world of sales experiences. And what we allow is a set of tools and frameworks and libraries that can now leverage 3D assets that brands already have, or you can get done by a vast amount of creators, and then onboard that and configure experiences of your choice, which could be virtual showrooms, which could be customer collaborative environments, which could be training experiences, which could be meta-ready gamified experiences that you target to the next generation of customers that you build with, immersive spaces, avatars, gamification. But most importantly, also these experiences are going to be tightly integrated with your enterprise systems. While this is a new channel, you cannot keep a siloed experience outside. Today, we launched Nexaverse, a couple of months back for Maruti Suzuki. But when we launched, customers were able to complete booking, book test drives, download brochures, ask questions about products, and all these interactions were integrated with the customer data platform of the enterprise. So there was no siloed data. If you were in the metaverse, tomorrow if you go and interact with the website, the enterprise knew what was happening in the metaverse. And hence, for enterprises, I think it's very important to understand if these experiences can also tightly integrate with your current enterprise systems, which may be in some sense bound by limitations. We spoke about what it is for customers and creators, but why would somebody want to be in a Dave New World or create your own metaverse when you cannot leverage the larger ecosystem? We at Dave, we believe that enterprises, large enterprises especially, some of you belong to that, most of you belong to that category, you have a large set of captive audience, right? Your objective should be to provide better experience to your captive audience while keeping their data in interest and also safeguarding the interest of your customers and your customer data. So we allow you to coexist only with non-competing enterprises, which means if you're an apparel brand, It doesn't matter if we as Dave work with another apparel brand, but you can ensure that your customers are not shared with your competitors, but also leverage other large enterprises who might be selling cars, who might be selling loans, who might be selling fuel, but coexist with these other large enterprises and share the larger customer interest. Also providing a wider reach for your customers in terms of experiences. So what we provide is a framework, a platform that enterprises can leverage, which has capabilities to build 3D experiences, which has its own speech recognition engine, which means that you do not, when you take a subscription from us, it doesn't mean that you need to go and again be leveraging Google or AWS or whatever. And also the other part, more important part, which is trying to drive ROI with a sales brain. So that's the platform that we offer. We work with, of course, organizations like Intel and NVIDIA to stay ahead of the innovation curve. But more importantly, we work closely with academia. We have R&D consortiums with IIT Guwahati, KTH Stockholm, and an investment from IIIT Hyderabad to sort of push the boundaries of what we can do in these virtual spaces. Thank you for the opportunity. I'll probably end with a quick demonstration of some of the experiences that we have built. This is the Nexaverse, where you can actually invite a friend of yours and go and do a virtual car showroom visit. Maruti Suzuki recently launched their new car, the Grand Vitara, on the Nexaverse when this car was not physically available in virtual showrooms. 400 showrooms of Nexa were able to take more than 20% of our bookings as of today is done through this platform. You can actually experience this across platforms on your mobile device, on your web, on a laptop, or wearing a VR device from your home or from a virtual showroom where this car, or from an actual showroom where this car is not available. More importantly, me and my dad could also together come and experience a car while we are in entirely two different geographies and also share insights. Because we have a virtual sales avatar, you're not just showcasing a product, but you can also demonstrate the product. You can create immersive experiences that are meaningful, that talks about the feature of the product to your customers through your virtual sales avatar. These sales avatars are interactive, which means customers can talk to them in natural language and are able to experience the product and the product's key features. While we are showcasing an automobile use case, depending on your industry, you can think about what this is, and our large ecosystem of creators can actually bring these experiences to life. And these are assisted experiences. So we really bridge the gap between a sales assisted experience offline and a virtual experience online, which means you are able to influence customers to make purchase decisions. Of course, that could be generating leads for your brands. It could also be simple gamified experiences, right? It need not have a meaning, which means that you can actually go and experience this brand and connect with the next generation of customers who could be 10 to 18-year-olds who today are not your direct customers, are going to be key influencers of your brand. So a bank, when they want to connect with 10 to 18-year-olds who are daughters and sons of their customers, they create gamified experiences with us. Finally, we are a team that are bound by strong value pillars. And of course, we believe that through this, we've had very, very highly qualified conversations. Really appreciate COE IoT's team for this opportunity. Look forward to having some conversations with some of you as we sort of end this conversation. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much.